This morning started off really cold. I was wearing everything I had, and it was just enough to keep me warm. But we had a lot of miles to do, and every single mile was just spectacular from start to finish. There was no dull moment. When you're walking, you have so much time to think, and you know logically that yes, there are avalanches and that these mountains are continually moving, but it isn't until you actually get to see one from a distance and hear its power, the thunderclap of sound that shakes the whole valley, and you see the power of these rocks coming down and sweeping everything in its sight. Moving in through Palisade Lake and Canyon was incredible because everything really began to narrow, and water was flowing at such a rate. It was beautiful to see. Lucky we never had to cross over that river because it would have been nerve-wracking trying to get over that with that much water coming through. Good morning, everyone. Today's day 49. Beautiful day, very cold, ice all through the tent, everything was frozen, but we're on the trail. As you can see here, I'll point the camera over here. We're following this river down. Just seeing all this beautiful landscape and steep terrain. Also to remind myself from that avalanche last night that anything can happen at any time, and that always got to be on top of things. It's a beautiful day. We're going to do probably 16. We have one more pass to do tomorrow, and then for the most part the passes are finished. Still a lot of climbing, of course, but the passes are done. Yesterday was a big one. We did 2, and I'm glad to say that they're behind us. Today is supposed to be a bit more of a cruisy day for us. I'm hoping to just be able to enjoy some of this beauty with a little less pace. That's the plan. And we'll see how plans work out. Anyways, hope you all have a great day, great afternoon, or great evening, wherever you tune in. See ya. I had to laugh because I thought that I only had 1 or 2 more passes to go, and it was all smooth sailing from there on out. But that was never the case. It was almost a pass a day, so it was something that I just had to get used to. No day would be easy, but it would be challenging and it would be fulfilling. One of the things I've learned throughout my life is that if you live a life of wonder and curiosity, you're rarely disappointed. That because you see that there's just so much to life, so much to experience, and you could never get bored. You know, the good things in life are not necessarily easy to get, but they certainly have the most rewards. It's almost impossible to capture the beauty that one sees when you're on the trail. It's hard to convey that with images and videos, and it's only something that can be experienced while there. At the end of this almost perfect day, we found the ideal meadow on this creek to be able to camp and soak the body in ice-cold water, knowing that Muir Pass was going to be coming the next day. Muir Pass is probably the most famous pass in the Sierras, and I was looking forward to it. The next day, the Muir Pass was probably the most challenging in terms of it had the most snow. There were several miles of walking in snow, and I was lucky to get an early start and be on the ice fields quite early in the morning. I had been carrying microspikes since Kennedy Meadows, and it was the first time that I had to use them. And I'm kind of glad I got to use them because it would not have been nice to carry these things, and they're reasonably heavy for the whole Sierras without ever using them. Most years you would be using these on every pass, but only Muir still held so much snow. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon or good evening. Day 50, all on top of Muir Pass. This one had a lot of snow to cross, more than a mile. As you can see, if you look in that gap in that canyon between those two mountains, that's where we came up this morning. A couple lakes that are pretty frozen up here. There's another one frozen completely up there. As you can see, people are still working their way up, as they will all day. This is the time of the day you want to be here because you don't want to be going any later. You start post-holing through the snow, and those are knee snappers. As you can see here in the distance, we have the John Muir hut, little beehive construction. It's just phenomenal the way it was built. It's beautiful and it's perfectly intact inside. Now if we look over here to the north, you see just that lake is just a mirror right now. There's no wind. It's a beautiful day. It's supposed to warm up. It was actually quite warm this morning. I'm really happy that I was able to get up a little bit earlier to get up here before it got too late. Anyways, it's just another climb. It seems to be one every day, so that's just the way it is in the Sierras. There are no easy days, but there are beautiful days every single day. Anyways, signing out for now. I'll see you soon. Bye. It's a bit disconcerting walking over snowfields when you hear the rivers underneath you and you're hoping that you're not going to break through. And this is one of the constant dangers of hiking in these high altitudes when there is snow. What do you do after you climb another pass full of ice fields and snow? Well, naturally, you have another ice bath. Time on the trail is a funny thing. Sometimes, especially in the desert sections, hours would go by so slowly when you're hot and thirsty and tired. And in the desert section, you're always thinking about water. But up here in the Sierras, water's abundant everywhere and time moves so quickly. I couldn't believe how fast the days were going. And when you'd navigate from one section of forest to a climb, to a peak, back down again as the forest builds, time just slips so quickly. Being at the heart of the Muir Trail, where this is probably one of the most famous trails in the Sierras, where people take anywhere from a week to 3 weeks to do this section of trail. It's also where the pack stations are now, and you can get up into the high country without having to carry a lot of weight, hire some guides to bring in your food and packs, and these cowboys and cowgirls who navigate these trails with these horses are amazing. It's quite a rugged lifestyle, but they manage it with grace.
Yeah.
It's not often we get to see fine-looking mules.
How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you guys?
It's an awesome show for us.
Yeah, you too. They're coming back empty.
Yeah, most of the ranges, they get all the shit fuel and
Well, I just had to cross this creek. I've gone 150 miles without getting my shoes wet. I'll dip my toe in a little bit, but as you can see here, this is Evolution Creek, and it's flowing pretty good. That night I made camp at the San Joaquin River, and it was here where the mosquitoes came out. This was the first time on the trail in the Sierras where the mosquitoes were in full force, and they would be for the whole rest of the night. Good morning, it's day 51. As you can see, there's a beautiful waterfall here. We're following along the San Joaquin River. This is one of the major rivers of the Sierras. It's pretty spectacular. We've got another day and a bit to get back to civilization and a resupply. Been out 6 days now, and it's just been stunning. There's just so much to see. Every day when I think it's been the best day ever, then there's another one, and it's just as good. There's a bit of haze in the air. There's a fire somewhere, don't know where, but you can smell it. Hopefully it's not anywhere close and nothing too big. That's always the danger of California, Oregon, and Washington this time of the year. But anyhow, here we are, 51 days in, and there's only a few more days left. I think I'm on the trail only 5 more days, and then I'm done. Kind of sad, but I am pretty anxious to get home and see my family. Anyways, hope you're all well. I'll chat soon. Bye. Managed to get another early start, and it's been most of the morning hiking alongside the San Joaquin River. San Joaquin is really one of the more famous rivers that flows in the Sierras. And by late morning, it was time to start climbing again and leave this San Joaquin River valley. The next climb was 3,000 vertical feet up, and it was, in the smoke it was a little bit difficult, but more so for some reason this particular area of pines had a pollen that I was allergic to, and I was sneezing the whole way up. Had lunch at the end of another pass, not quite the top, but just below it, at a place called Heart Lake. And it was here I began to see some of the fish actually that were really good size. Most of them you see at this stage were little brook trout, and they were quite small. But by the end of summer, they would be definitely big enough to keep.
Bear Creek was going to be our next campground for the night, but we still had to cross it, and it was one of those really deep, a lot of water moving kind of creeks.
Day 51 or 52, I'm not really sure. I started this a bit before, but then I had to cross a stream, which means I needed two hands. Our friend Sandro fell in yesterday off a log. He lost a pole. But luckily he found one not long after. Must be a place for missing poles. Anyhow, you can see this is the Bear Creek that we've been camping up next to last night. The mosquitoes are absolutely dreadful. There's so many clouds. Plus there's something in this forest that's giving me hay fever really bad. Every bone in my body hurts. I've only got about 5 more days of hiking left. About 4.5. And I tell you, as much as I love this, I look forward to the end because my body needs a break. This is tough. It's beautiful, but it's tough. And every day something else hurts. But we're getting through it. You can see this is the general lay of the trail, something like this. We're heading to a place called Vermilion Valley Resort. It's a high Sierra kind of getaway. We'll stay the night there and resupply, and then we're about 2 days out of Mammoth, where we'll have a long break, and then I'll finish it out with 2 more days to Yosemite. Anyways, hope you guys are all well. Where's that Zyrtex? Hi.
This morning started off really cold. We walked through a forest unlike any other that we'd seen so far. Wet sclerophyll, some look like native ginger type of plants. Is it just very different kind of tree structures. But we had to move pretty fast to get to Edison Lake. Crossing over the earth-made dam at Edison Lake, it took a lot longer than I thought. It turns out it's the largest earth dam in California. But the water levels were extremely low from the drought. Arriving at Vermilion Valley Resort was such a welcome sight, to a nice warm fire and a big jug of coffee just sitting on top